to speak to you this morning. Now, we've had a very strong reaction already this morning about these incentives for young people to get their vaccines. People feeling cheesed off, quite frankly, that they perhaps did the right thing for themselves and for others by going ahead and getting the vaccine. And now those that are resistant, they feel, are getting rewarded by getting these offers.
Yeah, and I would agree with that sentiment. There's a couple of things here, really. You know, we have used incentive schemes before in the NHS, you know, for people who want to lose weight. We often give them gym vouchers or vouchers to slimming clubs, that kind of thing. So it's not unusual in the NHS to get incentives. But with this, it does feel particularly irksome. I don't like the idea of incentivizing these vaccines. These vaccines need to be given on their own merit with the evidence, and young people need to be presented with that evidence and make an informed decision. I don't like the idea of the NHS paying for these incentives either, because, of course, we've got a huge backlog of non-COVID related issues that we're trying to clear up, and I would like the money to go towards that. And the big one, really, you know, incentivizing young people through vouchers that may get them to buy unhealthy food only adds to an unhealthy population. So my feeling is really that you know, advertise, campaign, give information that's targeted towards young people. I think that's probably the best way to encourage them. And I think it does kind of raise a level of suspicion in young people as well when you're trying to almost bribe them into getting the vaccine. I don't think it's a good look.
One of the things I think that you say is very powerful is that you always make it very clear that COVID is not flu. Yes, there are significant and tragic death rates from flu every year, but what you don't get with flu is the long-term organ damage that COVID brings in people of all ages, including young people. Lewis Hamilton was taking part in the Hungarian Grand Prix yesterday. We know that he, on the 30th of November, tested positive for COVID last year, which meant he had to pull out of events last year. But he's now talked about the difficulties he still finds with long COVID.
Yeah, he was on the podium yesterday and very dizzy.
It was obvious, just seeing him on the podium, wasn't he, that he was finding it very difficult. And
he's even said, didn't he, Amir? He said he feels like he's still fighting the long-term effects of COVID-19. I mean, this long COVID is a very real issue for a lot of people that have caught the virus.
It's very real. You know, it's estimated that 2 million people across the UK are suffering from long COVID, and symptoms can include extreme fatigue, brain fog, problems with vision, problems with pain, difficulty breathing, palpitations, chest pain, all sorts of things. There's almost, you know, there's no real system.
We know as well, isn't it, Dr. Khan? That's the thing, because more and more are emerging of different bits of the body that have damage. I know Derek is an extreme example of it, but all the time there are more issues. Initially it was just a bit of exhaustion, and now it seems to be more presenting.
Yes, that's absolutely right. And the symptoms can be mild in some people and very, very severe in others. And it's thought it is caused by this over-immune response to the virus. You create these auto-antibodies. So long after the virus is cleared, these antibodies, these auto-antibodies then start attacking normal tissue, which gives you these symptoms. Treatment is still being, you know, treatment options are being discovered. I think long COVID clinics, there's a lot of investment into them, but there's certainly in our area, you know, there's long waits for long COVID clinics when we're referring patients in. And while they're waiting, there isn't much that we can do because we don't really know very much about the condition and the treatment options available. So it's really, really tough. I think Lewis Hamilton, I'm really sorry that he is suffering from long COVID, but to have someone in such a prominent position talk about it, albeit briefly, and see it, I think, you know, does show how even the healthiest of people can get COVID and suffer these long-term symptoms and signs afterwards. And I think that should be incentive enough for young people who are hesitant about the vaccine to go forward and get it.
Well, very interesting. You make a very good case, as always. We'll let you get back to your deadheading now. Good to speak to you this morning. Thank you.